Hello and welcome to Quarter Flips, everyone. I am Dave, and today I get to tell you that I sold the first item in the $1 to new car challenge that I'm doing. And I don't even have it here to show you because I have already shipped it off. I've already bought new items with the money from the proceeds. But we'll get to that. Here's the thing it was the GURPS book. I made a video about it. It was up for about 3 days. I put it up for $10.99. I'll go into all the details in just a minute in a spreadsheet so I can show you how I'm deciding to handle all this and keep track of all of this. I ended up doing promoted sales, something I've never done before, like 4%. I paid a little bit more in eBay fees. I don't really know if that helped or not. I suspect maybe not, although I did go search GURPS and it was the very top hit. It was the first thing. And I don't think GURPS is something that people search a lot. So maybe it was worth it. I might use this as an occasion to experiment around with that a little bit more. So before we get over to the sheet and how I'm going to account for these sales and how this sale went down and how much money I actually had left over after all fees and everything, I wanted to talk about this whole project just a little bit. I was telling a friend about it and they said, you know what you should do? You should put a time limit on how long it takes you to make the money for the car. And I said, why? And they said, well then, because then people will buy stuff faster. And I realized that this friend thought that the whole purpose of making these videos was to get people who watch the videos to buy things so that I could buy a car. And I really hope people understand that's not what I'm doing here. Like, I know people who watch the videos will buy stuff from the channel. It's already happened, but that's not the goal here. I want to show the process of taking a small amount of money and rolling that up into a larger amount of money that anybody could do if you didn't have a YouTube channel. That you could just do it and actually chart the whole progress of it and show how that works. I think it's not the same process if you're actually getting people to buy stuff. If the idea is that people will watch a video and buy and then you'll be able to get a car. That's not the point. I'm not just trying to get you all to buy me a car. I expect a lot of things that get bought off this that people will have no idea I have the channel at all, and that's totally fine. That's what I'm hoping will happen. So, just to avoid any confusion, and I hope we're all on the same page, this is more like an experiment and hopefully less like a promotion or begging for a car. Let's jump off screen here, go and take a look at my spreadsheet and how I'm accounting for the sales. Then I'll pop back and I'll show you the stuff that I bought, and then and then we'll go. Okay, so here is the $1 to new car Excel worksheet that I have created. And you'll see I've already got the GURPS Fantasy Rulebook listed right here. And I say I started with $1 on October 2nd, 2021. I bought the GURPS Fantasy Rulebook. It had a cost of $1. I listed it on 10/2/21. And then the rest of these fields are all just zeros at the moment. Sold for, shipping, fees, subtotal, 30% tax, we'll get to all of that. And then there's a couple of things over here I'll explain. And then up here I have example any item. I had to make a different kind of line for everything that I add after, which will hopefully make sense. So these new items that I'm buying will go here and here and here. And yeah, we'll get to that. But let's look at what happened with this GURPS Fantasy Rulebook. So it ended up selling for $10.99. Okay, well that changes all of this. Shipping on it was $3.82. And then the fees for selling it, $1.68. So what that leaves me with is $5.49 subtotal. But I don't think I should be able to consider that $5.49 to actually be the profit on that book, because I'm going to have to pay taxes. There's some other things associated with it, like the cost to package it up to ship it. Now, the shipping's already here, but that's not the envelope and the tape, right? So what I have decided to go with is 30% tax, etc. I figure I'll take 30% out of every one of these sales of the subtotal. That's after the fees, not 30% of the gross amount, but 30% of the net. Put that aside to cover all those costs. Let me know if you think that number is too high or if you think that number is too low. I can always adjust it as we go forward. But for now, I'm going with 30%. I think it's just a nice round number, ballpark figure. So according to this calculation, that takes roughly $1.65 off, leaving me with roughly $3.84. And then that goes over into my total subtotal and then it says project total. So right now these are the same. The total subtotal and the project total are the same because there are no costs associated. The $1 is already part of the project. I had the dollar, so there have been no costs. $1 is what this thing is. So the dollar is now $3.84. And so what will happen is from now on, when I enter the cost of any new items, that will come out of the cost, and that will then be taken out of the subtotal, and the project total will be different. It will always reflect the money that I have spent of this money that includes the original dollar. It will always now reflect that that's been spent. I hope this will keep an accurate total of everything. We'll see if it fails spectacularly. But let's go back and take a look at what I bought to go into these spaces. So with that $3.84 in my hand, I decided I needed to go buy some things that I could put up, keep this thing rolling. And obviously I was going to go for DVDs. I was going to pick whatever I could find, but my easy go-to, where I know I can get cheap items, DVDs. So I went out, had the GoPro with me, made a couple of short videos. Here's what that looks like. I am in Everett, Washington, a little thrift store I like to go to. I've never gone in there with the GoPro before, so we'll see how they feel about that, or if they even notice. But this place may have what I'm looking for. Okay, I spent $3 in that store, but only one of the things I bought for $1 is going to go towards the car. The other two things were weirdly speculative, and one of them I have to get some work done. It was a disc that I have to get cleaned. That in itself is going to put it above the money that it would take for the car. So I'm splitting up the sale. One thing was chosen for the car, so I've got another $2.74 that I can spend. I know there's another pawn shop up here that has a lot of DVDs for $1, so I'm gonna go check that out and yeah, see if I can find 2 more items. All right, spot number 2, pawn shop. We'll see if I can get away with filming it all in this place. I don't know if I can.
All the way up. What do you think? I like the first one better. And if you want those ones, I'll do it.
Okay, so honestly, they had a ton of DVDs, but not a very good selection. I did end up doing the 10 for 10, but I'm still gonna look a little bit more before I decide whether any of those $1 DVDs are gonna be part of the car. There were some really nice ones in there, but they were so scratched and so damaged, they weren't even worth trying to get cleaned. It was the kind of DVD collection where my hands feel dirty now that I've been touching it, so it wasn't the best collection. Anyway, I'm gonna try at least one more store on my way home, and then we'll get home, we'll see what we've got to move this thing forward. I wasn't able to film at every spot that I went. A couple of the places I went were pawn shops that are really kind of just gun shops with other items. Sometimes those other items are DVDs, but they don't necessarily like a person filming in there, and I completely understand that. It's their spot. I don't want to mess with it. But a lot of these places have cheap DVDs, and at the end of the day, I did get 3 DVDs for $1 each. So here's what they are. I ended up buying a bunch of stuff, but these are the ones that I think are gonna work best for this project. They were $1 each plus tax, so $1.10 essentially for each one. So of the $3.84, I spent $3.30. I got On the Beach, the complete miniseries. This has some nice comps on it. Spun, Uncensored Director's Cut. I see this DVD sometimes. I usually see the other version. This one looks like it it has a decent sell-through rate. We'll see. And then this one, which is a complete, like, wild card. I don't know. It's a sealed copy, brand new, of Playing for Change, Peace Through Music, the story of hope, struggle, and remarkable power of music. Now that I like. And it says, as seen on PBS. And my experience has been that PBS stuff on DVD does sell pretty well. So for $1, for something brand new, I figure this might go. So let's take these 3 items into the spreadsheet, and I'll show you what they're going to look like the way I've got the spreadsheet set up. All right, let's enter the items, shall we? The next thing is the On the Beach miniseries DVD. Cost was $1.10, and I'm listing it today. Okay, so the difference now is we haven't had any activity here, but now I've got $1.10 coming off of my project total. Okay, so this is working. Let's do the next one. Same deal, 1021. Oh, but I had not copied over these yet. So for each new item that I put in, I need to copy these fields, and that'll keep things going. And since I'm going to put it in another one, I might as well copy them up to there also. Yep, $1.64 now, $2.20 spent. So now we've got 54 cents essentially. I'm not going to buy anything with 54 cents. I'm going to wait until some of these sell and that number goes back up. As that number goes up, that'll be the amount I can spend. And as I spend, I will add more rows to give myself space. So this is going to eventually become a very large document. And we'll see how hard it is to deal with as that happens. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. That's it. Hopefully something on that list will sell, or all 3 of those things will sell, and I can continue this and figure out what I'm going to buy next. I expect for a while it's going to be DVDs. DVDs are pretty easy for me to get a hold of and find and get listed, and then after a while the money will get bigger and I'll have to figure out something bigger to buy. And we'll start getting into uncharted territory in the quest to turn $1 into a brand new car. All right, thank you. If you like this, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and thank you for going on this trip with me. All right, see you next time.